House of Representatives pushes for stronger national security measures. Reps demand tougher action on terrorism. And special session, Speaker reassures Nigerians on protecting citizens. Hello and welcome to You and Your Reps, where we bring you the key decisions and debates shaping the work of Nigeria's Green Chamber. I am Victor Azo. Thank you for joining us. The House of Representatives has renewed its call for a stronger national security architecture, urging security agencies to sharpen intelligence gathering and deploy modern technology to track terrorists and other criminal networks threatening communities across the country.
The police, the army...
The debate on national security gets intense in the Green Chamber on the third and final plenary session of the week.
We cannot pretend that these threats are isolated. The crisis is now national, and the suffering is real.
Bullets alone cannot kill ideology. It is high time we tackle the issue of unemployment.
I say kudos to Mr. President for declaring the state of emergency. But unfortunately, Mr. Speaker, the reward system in the Nigerian police is weak.
We have enough force in this country to solve the problem, and that is why the Commander-in-Chief is taking this step forward.
Critical questions are asked regarding the capacity of the intelligence agencies.
NSA or DSS is being abused through a video. They will go after that person and track their location. Why is this one so difficult to track?
The United Arab Emirates has released names of terrorist sponsors. In this country, the names of these sponsors are yet to be released to face justice. What message are we passing?
Create a national intelligence fusion center for real-time sharing of information. Deploy technology in such a way that will enhance our forces.
To buy more drones and digitalize our security.
As parliamentarians make recommendations, timely justice delivery is considered a deterrent to terrorist activities.
There's this idea that justice is served differently, and it affects the problem.
Establishment of special court or tribunal to try terrorism-related offenses.
We later caught up with the Deputy Chief Whip of the House, Ibrahim Isiaka, who spoke on behalf of the Southwest, offering insight into the region's position and what informs its thinking on the security debate.
The positions we took, first and foremost, was to commend all the security agencies of the Federation for the task, the honors task. They have always been opening their eyes 24 hours for us to sleep. And even in the process, many of them, they've paid the supreme price. And so unfortunate. And that moved us most into tears, especially with recent happenings. And of course, do we have security challenges in Nigeria? Yes. Is the government of the day doing something about it? Yes. All hands are they on deck to see that areas of risk that we are not able to eliminate, are we trying to mitigate? Yes. Those that we cannot mitigate, are there control processes in place to put control measure? Yes. Are they all enough? I will not say yes, because it's not yet Uhuru. So that's why all of us are now coming together. And I must commend the Speaker of the House of Representatives, the 10th Assembly, Right Honorable Abbas Tajuddin, PhD, GCON, together with other principal officers of the House, for taking this bull by the horns. The level of risk and the insurgency in one area is not the same. It's not the same. So And for some people now to now classify it as if it is religious war, it is ethnic war, especially the most recent ones, the same sickness that is afflicting 20 is what is afflicting 300. That's the literary meaning. We'll continue to take care of all our fallen heroes, the families. Yes, what are we even going to give them? It cannot compensate for what has happened, but at least there must be some levels of compensations and succor. And that would not say it will make them forget their. And again, apart from that, those that have retired, there have been some other postulations that, see, they are tired, they are retired, but they are not tired. So at a certain point, they can always come and make inputs based on their experiences. It's not just to discard them. We're talking about our security agencies. And above all, we should not keep quiet by saying that security issues are bottom-up issues. And we say bottom-up, it starts from the environment. Nobody was ever born a criminal. It is the bizarre society where we are living. That's where they always stem from. And who are the first level to detect that, there's a criminal tendency in the body or system of this person. We should have local policing, state police policing. At the local level, we used to have informants in those days. Then where are our traditional rulers, our fathers, the Bales, the emirs? Then how do we now even strengthen the local vigilantes? Those that are very sincere among them, those that they have been screened, they are very useful and always very useful at every point of this our human endeavor. They are very useful because they always have first-hand information about most of these things. Then even our youth. Then there have been cases of, some policies of the government in the past, events have overtaken them. It is high time we review all those policies. Southern governors met again, came together on the same purpose. And of course, you can see reactions from the presidency as well. The president, his pronouncements, recruitment of more armies, procurement of equipment and etc. to support police, more police. So you can see that everybody is now working simultaneously with synergy. And even the pronouncement that, this is the time for state police, and then legislation must come, which definitely the House, under the leadership of His Excellency Abbas Tajuddin, immediately we get it, I'm sure we are going to activate the process. If that's the first thing we are first of all going to achieve, and the constitution, it's a constitutional matter, so that we have to achieve. So be it.
And that security debate also had lawmakers press the federal government to take tougher, more decisive steps against terrorism and violent extremism. Members stressed that the wave of attacks sweeping through the country demands urgent, coordinated action.
The insecurity we face today is not just Boko Haram, but people within us, our very own constituents, our very own blood.
There is a threat not only to the country, there is a threat also to the institution that we all represent.
Who truly benefits from this prolonged war against insurgency? And why are those fighting insurgency being silenced from within?
We must be very, very pragmatic to call on the president to do the needful. This is not about politics. It's about the lives of our people.
There is a limited trust in state mechanisms in many localities.
But lawmakers are not throwing in the towel. They are calling for a two-pronged approach, kinetic and non-kinetic measures, to nip the security challenges in the bud. Some are advocating a thorough scrutiny of military recruitments, while others are conversing for intergovernmental synergy.
We need our governors to do more. The president cannot be everywhere.
Boko Haram were found in the list. Other criminals, armed robbers, gangs were found in the list of Nigerian army and police. There has to be a thorough way of ensuring that when we're recruiting, those of us that are politicians are recommending, should recommend people of good character and integrity.
The consensus is clear. The lawmakers believe it's time to take the bull by the horns and confront terrorism head-on.
Government must live up to its responsibility. Go after terrorists, go after kidnappers, go after any kind of violent criminals.
A state of emergency must be declared in security, especially in all ungoverned spaces.
The leadership should also interface with the executive to ensure that some of these resolutions, including past ones, are implemented.
The Nigerian people are waiting. Communities across the Northeast, the nations are watching. History will remember us today.
The week-long focus on national security was set in motion last Tuesday as the House opened its special plenary, with Speaker Tajuddin Abbas reassuring Nigerians that the government will never support or look away from violence against its own citizens. The session laid the groundwork for days of intense conversations on Nigeria's evolving security challenges.
Heightened security challenges in the country, especially recent mass abductions, prompted the House leadership to dedicate this plenary solely to deliberate on national security. The Speaker sets the tone, attributing a resurgence of violence to internal and external factors, while urging Nigerians not to succumb to the desire of terrorists to instill fear.
These acts have been carried out by violent groups pursuing their own agendas. They do not reflect the policy or practice of the Nigerian state. We must resist fear and stand firm against those who rely on cruelty to advance their evil ideologies.
From security committee presentations to zonal situation reports, lawmakers were frank about the need to take the bull by the horns.
As we are approaching 2027, Mr. Speaker, we will all be expected to have a peaceful conduct of our polls. How do you have that if our communities, local communities, are plunged into crisis?
We know what is happening to our soldiers on the front line, particularly the story of General Musa Uba. All these bandits originate from some homes, and they are not from heaven. Somebody gave birth to them. There's need for us to look at our family size.
They, however, urged Nigerians to close ranks to tackle the multifaceted security threats.
Discouraging ransom payments to bandits. I know it's difficult, it's easier to say, but when you pay these ransoms, they use them to acquire more weapons and kidnap more and invade more communities.
Many will say banning amnesty negotiation is too rigid. My response, Mr. Speaker, is show me one amnesty deal in Zamfara, Katsina, Sokoto, Southeast, wherever in Nigeria, that has produced lasting peace.
We don't have an option than to go back to community policing or state policing.
The Nigerian police is currently overstretched, underfunding, underarmed, and underpaid.
Our valiant troops continue to battle with constraints and inadequate modern equipment and vehicles, advanced communication, and a manned aerial system, which are essential for effective ground and air operations.
Our Nigerian military is not overstretched. The responsibilities of the Nigerian military are overstretched. It is time to restore the police to its rightful place as the first line of internal defense.
The House hopes to aggregate the submissions into a unified resolution that will be transmitted to the executive for action.
"15-year-old Haruna Suliat Adeola has stepped into the Green Chamber as the one-day member representing Ibarapa North and Central Federal Constituency of Oyo State. The SS3 student was formally introduced at plenary before taking her seat and delivering her remarks. In her short address, she raised concerns familiar to many Nigerians: electricity, road conditions, and basic infrastructure in her community.
I kindly request for the federal intervention through the Rural Electrification Agency and support for ongoing substation discussion so that the entire constituency can reconnect to reliable power.
The actual member for the constituency, Adebayo Adekpoju, outlined how she emerged through his one-day member program and assured that he will follow through on the issues she highlighted.
What she has achieved is not an easy feat. It's something that was well competed for. So we had several stages. She went through every stage. At the end, we have 5 competitors that would compete in front of a host of people from within and outside the constituency. And, they are always tested in mathematics, English, spelling bees, essay competition. And these are impromptu essay competition where they are not really so informed about what they'll be asked, so they have to think. What she has said today are things that will be looked at critically, and every single one of them, believe it or not, will be taken seriously. The last one-day rep we had here, Ms. Peace Oladosu, when she came in here, she also made a lot of pronouncements. I can tell you that every one of the pronouncements she made found a way to get itself into the national budget.
Haruna Suliat Adeola becomes the second beneficiary of Representative Adekpoju's initiative, which aims to inspire young people and give them a taste of legislative leadership. On the legislative terms and tools segment, we are breaking down a word you hear often around the National Assembly, but rarely explained: gazetting. It is the quiet step that makes a bill official before debate begins, and without it, nothing can move. So what exactly does it mean for a bill to be gazetted, and why is it such a crucial part of the lawmaking process? Let's find out.
In Parliament refers to the process during lawmaking, where a legislator, a member of Parliament, proposes a piece of legislation, we call it a bill, to become a law. Immediately after we scrutinize it and we find that it's what it's salt, we send it for printing. we put it in a format that is understandable, in such a way that there are clauses that will eventually become sections when it becomes a law. It's put in the documenting process of the Parliament in such a way that any member can always refer to it. So once your proposed legislation, your bill, has been scrutinized and printed, it's usually put in a booklet where a number of such proposals are placed in, and such booklet is called a journal. So when your bill has been put in a journal, it has been journalized, it has been gazetted, such booklets are now distributed to every member of Parliament for them to study ahead before it is listed for first reading for the attention of members. So to gazette is to formally inform members. The proposed legislation is now in a booklet form and numbered. That's very important. It is distributed to every member of Parliament to read ahead so that they can be prepared for the debate. So once your bill, your proposed legislation has not yet been printed and distributed in that format, in the government format, in the format of the Parliament, showing the clauses, the long title, the number, the sponsor, and the various clauses that will become sections of the law, that when that has not been done, you cannot debate it.
Last week on the committee segment, we began our conversation on federal character with Representative Adebayo Adepoju, who is the deputy chairman. And this week, we wrap it up, looking at what federal character really means, how it's applied, and why it remains one of the most sensitive benchmarks in national appointments.
We are willing to do everything, and there are several instances where we have had to use the power of the legislature, to hold back agencies, of government from recruiting. We have actually had to even halt employment processes, ongoing employment processes. I'm telling you, we've seen processes where, even those that advertise, we've had to tell them the mandatory time for you to advertise is 6 weeks. Why did you advertise for 2 weeks? So you see, there are all sorts of practices. There's one that's currently ongoing that we stopped. I mean, I don't want to mention that for sake of their privacy. And we had several meetings where we had to mandate. And this is a huge one. It's a paramilitary, just to tell you. We had to halt it for such a long time because why would you advertise for just 2 weeks? What does the Constitution say? How did you get a waiver? To open your portal, close it, and before you know it, they were already doing what they had to do. So there are all sorts of, ways people do all sorts of things in this country that I'm telling you, we really need to fix. And for those that slip through the crack, we may not know. For those that get to the notice of the committee, we invite them and we do what we have to do to ensure that there is, even distribution amongst the states. And for your information as well, the Federal Character Committee of the House of Representatives has at least one member per state. When you're sitting in a room where we ask you how many employees you have, and you say you have 1,000 employees, and we look at the distribution, and you're saying 500 and something to Akwa Ibom, 2 to Lagos, 8 to Zamfara, 4 to Ebonyi. How do you feel? We are saying 0 to Rivers. I'm just saying this. This is just hypothetical. The person there from Rivers feels, are you saying we don't have anybody from my whole state that qualifies for this role? That's a problem. So this annoys the members. It annoys us. And when those things, because we're all passionate about where we're from. Number one, we're passionate about Nigeria. Number two, we're very passionate about where we're from. And we hate to be cheated. So these are the kind of things that we're fixing. These are the reasons why we use the power of the law, to hold back a lot of recruitment processes. And unfortunately, members of the public do not know why an agency would advertise and not be able to move forward. Because in that process, they have not followed the law. And that's where we come in to ensure that the law is followed and people, people are aware, number one, and, the recruitment process is done in a very just manner where everybody feels they're part of that recruitment process. So, because we're all Nigerians at the end of the day.
And that's you and your reps for this week. Thank you so very much for watching and staying engaged with the work of your representatives. I'm Victor, as well. See you next time.